Arc Raiders, huh? So either the devs are on holiday meme is finally expired, or one of the devs happened to have watched my video and they took some notes. Because it seems like they're finally addressing some of the things that I've been whining about since before World War III started, which is good. That's great. And look, if the devs happen to be watching, hit me up. I'm right here. I do have a world record in Delta Force. I mean, like, it's just a world record. I mean, it ain't much. Number one in the number one in the world. Hello. Anyways, look, we don't need a lot of preamble. I just sort of want to talk about the direction of the game and sort of the recent changes. Since I made my last video, they actually did jump on some of the new bugs very quickly, patch them in and out, just like that. Let me use my right hand. There you go. There was the duplication glitch, the infinite Pharaoh ammo glitch, shit like that. A whole bunch of them popped up. I did mention that um, Embark had a habit of introducing new bugs every time they would put in a new patch. Like their QA just missed these every single time. But at least they're quick with fixing these bugs as they come out. That's forgivable. That's fine. In that case, it doesn't really matter. If you jump on the issue that you introduce, then there's no problem, right? I mean, we could talk about the whole strongly worded messages that Embark like to give out, but honestly, it's kind of fruitless to discuss any of that. That aside, I'm more interested in discussing the new things, right? So there's a current patch, introduced a bunch of stuff. It is new, very flashy. I'm sort of concerned in the direction that Arc Raiders is headed, but this is also a very personal take, so we'll go through it, right? Especially now that Marathon is starting to release. And that's good. Competition within the genre should get everyone off their laurels, right? Speaking of Marathon, I'd be happy to share my thoughts on the playtest. A lot of people are unhappy with it, far more than I think it deserves, but maybe I'm easily impressed. I don't know what that says about Arc Raiders. First things first, the UI now shows things that it recycles into, and that's big. That was actually gonna be one of my complaints in my previous video. I don't think I tabled it. It's because I got to the point where I ended up memorizing most of the things that things recycle into, but having to go click on the item and recycle it just to check and then close the window because it's not actually the shit that you wanted, and you have to go and find what you actually are looking for. Yeah, I think it's a lot more useful. You skip that one whole window, you skip that whole step. That's great, perfect. That's exactly the quality of life that I think the game is looking for and it needs. Really, you don't want to spend your time in menus. At least allegedly, there's a particular comment that I'll probably bring up later. Is very peculiar. We'll get to that. The brand new map condition is the what was it? The hurricane, right? The hurricane map event. It's a funny little gimmick. Um, Personally, I just call it tedious. Your shield gets worn down all the time. You're sparking. I get it. It's like a trade-off between, your visibility or your vulnerability via taking off your shield. Not particularly exciting gameplay for me. Like I said, very personal. So the whole brand new map modifier is just a miss for me. Just a shrug of the shoulders. Is like I'll play it sometimes. It's interesting. That's about it, really. Don't care too much for it. It feels more like tedium than challenge. Additionally, they added 2 new arc enemies. That sounded exciting. The whole hype to the update sounded very exciting. 2 new arc enemies, brand new map. We got this shit going, we got that shit going. It's gonna be a party. Then it rolled around, and I was just like, oh, because the 2 new arc, they feel recycled. They feel like recycled content. They're absolutely uninspired, very boring, and kind of stale on arrival. It's literally just another ball and another drone. The ball is bigger. The drone has a flamethrower, but it is just another ball and another drone. There's absolutely nothing new. The shredder, when it came out, that was new. That was exciting. That was dangerous. I feel like the design space for Arc can be so much more than just ball, drone, and crab. Like the shredder, like I said, obviously, and having just played Marathon recently, the satisfaction of like fighting not necessarily humanoid enemies, but just something that wasn't just like a ball or a drone or a crab was nice. It freshened it up. I'm not saying humanoid enemies is the answer. All of that to say that the two new arc introduced are stale, boring, uninspired. They might as well just have been there from the start. There's just nothing new about them. They're just tankier. In fact, they're just tankier versions of what we already have, and they deal more damage. The reason for them being stale and quickly introduced, I think, is hinted at by the new crafting recipes. So obviously they nerfed the Deadline, they nerfed the Wolf Pack, they nerfed a whole bunch of the Trailblazer and shit like that. All the crafting recipes that everyone was using against the Arc. There was the whole debate that, they probably pushed too hard on the nerfs because now they're taking away people's tools that were so readily available. I don't really want to discuss that point one way or another. It's hard to say exactly what a healthy state of crafting or availability would be for these items. So I don't really know, although I will say it's kind of silly that wolf packs are typically used for Rocketeers, and then you require a Rocketeer drive to craft one. I don't know, you're kind of just losing one to gain one. So I'm not really going to talk about that aspect of the design. However, that's probably the reason that these two new arc were introduced in the first place, just to have new cores or new components to add into crafting recipes to make it harder to get things. It's just introducing obstacles, and they're like, oh well shit, we don't have an arc that can stem the crafting of this item. Okay, let's throw one in. What resources do we have? Oh, we got drone skeleton, we got ball skeleton, we got crab skeleton. And they're like, oh, we got a couple of crabs, let's put in another ball, put in another drone. And that's what we got. They also finally nerfed the Stitcher, Kettle, and Venator. So that was a long time coming, and it only took them 5-6 months to actually nerf the Stitcher. So that's good news. Although, I don't know, it's too little too late for me, at least. The weapon sandbox of Marathon did kind of spoil me in comparison to Arc Raiders. Like, having an actual AR available from a free kit, the Rattler was really the only available AR besides the Tempest, and it acts like a piece of shit that no one ever would want to use. So being able to have an AR in Marathon was like, oh shit, here's a free loadout, here's a fucking AR, I'm having fun. Limiting your weapon types to particular rarities is questionable. I'm not really sure the solution for that in Arc Raiders, just because that's sort of the design philosophy that they're going with, and it's a little too deep to mix it all up now. But the nerfs, I think, were in the right direction, for the weapons, at least. I don't know about the crafting, but the nerfs for the weapons were in the right direction, particularly reducing base damage for the Stitcher a little bit, reducing headshot multiplier, increasing bloom, kettle damage reduction, Venator damage reduction, shit like that. These weapons were obviously topping their tiers for a long time. So evening the playing field is good. It's good. Personally, I don't know. I think I've done all there is to do in Arc Raiders. Coming into the second expedition, I actually haven't even launched the game. I haven't even checked since the expedition is ticked over. I don't know what's happened to my raider. There's just like, the end game is quite stale. You are just sort of grinding to grind for the next reset so that you can grind for the next reset. There's not much going on. All the events, let me say, like whenever there's an event going on, it's really just an in the background thing. Like Shared Watch was, this is an event to remind raiders that we're all here to fight Arc together. It's really just deal damage to Arc. That's going to happen naturally. It doesn't actually encourage cooperation. It's a background task that will complete on its own. You don't do anything active. You don't, I don't know, there's just no excitement. There's no actual feeling of an event happening. Similarly, you have like the events where you just have to submit things. You just go out there, run around, collect shit, and put it in, submit it, and that's it. Also very stale, very boring. Give players a reason to run through their stash, right? Obviously now that we just came through an expedition. That's not necessarily something you can rely on. I don't know what a fun event would be. I don't know if you guys have ever played DMZ, but there was a Halloween event in DMZ where the entire map went night mode. There would be whole demon bosses and shit. There's a demon train that went around the map. There would be a butcher boss. There's portals and magic and demon shit going on. Very fun, very interesting. Obviously, it's Activision Blizzard, so they're gonna have the funding to do that. I'm not saying Arc Raiders has to do anything on that level or to that scale, but introduce something fun for an event. Make it something unique in the map. Candleberries are not unique fun events in the map. That does not count. Also, in Delta Force, they had an event where every map would have that you can infill into would have like a particular boss that spawns in. Then they just said, you know what, fuck it, here's an event. All the bosses of every map will just be in this one area, and they're fucking fighting each other. They're going crazy. If you go in there, it's loot heaven, because every boss is gonna drop their super rare loot. You can go in there and just like clobber them all at once. That's super fun, and it's super risky because all the bosses are super. What is my vocabulary? They're all very difficult to deal with, right? And so the high risk, high reward. It's not even new content, but it's like in a different setting. And then obviously that promise of high risk, high reward will also lure more players. Everyone's going to be fighting their players, all the bosses, all the bots, everything's going on. It's mayhem in there if you choose to fight there. I think that's super fun. That's very creative. So far, Arc Raiders has shown none of that. Over the 6 months it's had to demonstrate something. It's just been background activity, go fetch this and submit it. Nothing going on. A whole lot of nothing going on. I really think it's okay to take inspiration from other like games in your genre. 100% fine. Obviously don't copy my homework sort of shit. Just take inspiration. Yeah, so all that basically just to say that there hasn't been anything exciting about Arc Raiders in a while. Like even the map condition, which I would assume is like the biggest change recently, is not exciting or fun. It's just the same game but with a little bit of gimmick to it. Yeah, so the game is getting very dry. Obviously this is a personal thing. I've put many hours into the game. It's a self-inflicted sort of thing, but I do worry that eventually a lot of players will start to feel this way. And I mean, right now the game is still in a very healthy spot. I would like for there to be a reason for me to keep playing Ark. I like the game, right? I didn't spend that many hours on it because I don't like the game, and I want to keep playing it. It's just there's no reason to. It's not even fun anymore. Like just the gameplay loop of infill, look for shit, maybe kill a dude or two or die, and exfil is a try. Even coming out with a win is not that exciting to me anymore. They still haven't addressed some of the expedition issues that I was whining about. They did change the UI for repairing weapons, accommodating for the fact that you have a 10% repair rate from your expedition rewards. That's good. That's great. Like I said, maybe Mr. Dev was watching my video. Love you. Hire me or something. But the order in which your workbenches are crafted has not changed, allegedly, according to the Reddit, because I have not even launched or checked the game. Like, a lot of people still love and glaze this game. Maybe a little too much so. Like, this is just something I wanted to discuss from earlier, right? I mentioned that players don't want to spend all their time in a menu. That's just not fun. That's not how you introduce stakes. It's not how you introduce variety or player-driven values, right? Something's not valuable because you spent so much time tinkering in a menu. And not tinkering like you're tickling your brain neurons, like they're firing off. It's just like tedium. Yeah, so there's this fellow that was like, there should be a craft a required material and buy a required material option in the crafting page. I think I mentioned something like this in my previous video where I was comparing the UI to Delta Forces. And I was like, of course, this is a universal thing that no one can disagree on. Obviously, everyone wants there to be an ease of access for crafting. No one enjoys the tedium. Fuck me, I guess I'm wrong. Holy shit. Something's wrong with the people that play this game. So one of them chimed in and was like, by not doing this, by not adding this quality of life, it takes actual time to make your guns. And that makes them more valuable. And it hurts more when you lose them. And therefore the game is more exciting because your gun took more time in the fucking menu because you had to navigate from the fucking workbench to the refiner to craft mech comps to advanced mech comps, and then you had to go back to your inventory and right click upgrade and then find it in the random list because it took you to a different gun, and then repair it once and then check how much you need for level 3 to level 4. Oh, holy shit. And then he started talking about a golden AK in Fortnite. I don't know. Look, that being said, the people that glaze this game have a very deep misunderstanding of exactly what makes a game operate. But like, to each their own, I guess. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I will judge you for it. I will say it's very peculiar that you would rather there be an obstacle to coming back into the game and having fun as opposed to just ease of access. Like, additionally, there was another post where a gentleman was complaining that they still have not fixed the workbenches and not made them rearrangeable. And after the second expedition, you think Embark would have addressed this by now, but they haven't. And so it's valid to be upset. But everyone just said it's player responsibility. Like, it's not a hard patch to implement. I promise you, it's not a hard patch to implement. It's quality of life. It should just be included in the game from the get-go. It's not something that, it's not a crazy ask, right? But apparently it is. The man was being torn apart in the comments because he said, okay, yeah, I made the mistake. I fucked up that my shit is out of order again. And then everyone said, well, you had warnings. You should have known. This is your fault. You're going to deal with the consequences. Fuck you. Get fucked. Embark can do no wrong. The man is just asking for Embark to implement a basic quality of life feature that's available in like 80 to 90% of other games that have a similar implementation. I do not understand the whole ardent defense of what is clearly a mistake on Embark's part. And it's not an attack on Embark. This is not me attacking Embark. This is me questioning where this die-hard blindness comes from. Look, bro, I can't tell you why these people think like they do. If you do think like this, let me know why. Say it in the comments. Fucking tell me. Because I cannot fathom the dick riding, right? Please stop insulting the multi-million-dollar company. Dude, they can handle criticism. They put out a game to the public for profit. So the people that purchase the game are allowed to voice concerns. You don't have to sit there and be a bullet shield for the multi-million-dollar company, you know? They can handle it. It's fine. These are criticisms. The onus of these issues do not fall on the player to fix. These are issues inherent within the game. And so it is something that the developers of the game should fix, you know? I'm astounded. Dumbfounded. But that aside, look, all that doesn't matter. Look, I just get very curious about, maybe it's just Redditors, bro, I don't know. Point being, Arc Raiders is heading in a very stale direction. Nothing has happened. I think the one big update has been the matriarch. Everything after that has been a shrug of the shoulders. Hidden bunker, locked gate, I did them. They're not exciting. But when the loot itself isn't exciting anymore, there's not really much reason to play. Because there's no goal. I've done plenty of hours of PvP. I've run its course. There's not much more I can get out of just shooting random raiders. Look, the roadmap is still up. They say they're going to do a lot of funky shit. It's not like I've uninstalled the game and it's not like I'm bringing it out back to fucking put it down. If I do end up making a marathon video, I guess I'm gonna be extraction shooter guy. Because I also want to do a DMZ video to talk about what we lost when Blizzard Activision, Mr. Bobby Kotick himself, decided to fucking gut it. I still think that was one of the most unique extraction shooters, and we just lost so much gold when they decided to pull the plug on it. If I'm being honest, this video was really just an intermediary for another video that I was gonna make. I just needed to make sure I just needed to make sure I still knew how to talk at the camera without choking, sputtering, and dying. Little spoiler for the next video, actually. This guy. How good is that? Man, I've been waiting on this for like 8 months? Ooh. So that's gonna be exciting. If I ever get around to putting that entire video together. Okay, look, that was pretty much it. Just quick update. Arc Raider's kind of boring. And new video in maybe 20 months from now.